flesh. That 5 elements amazing silk bear was able to obtain such a cultivation level because it had been inside for a long time. The strength is greatly improved. She walked all the way inside, encountering only a few crises. Having found such a source of 5 elemental auras, it was the little mixed bead. After understanding this, Chu Feng could not help but lament that in the immortal cultivation world, the most important things were 2 things. 1 is strength, 2 is power. If you have the strength, you will be able to find good things from the secret realm inside. For example, if Bai Yi and the others had been as powerful as Chao Qian this time, they would have been completely able to come and explore alone. Then such a good thing as the little mixed bead, a good chance would be the other parties. If there were forces, they would come here as Chu Feng did. Everything is done with the help of Chao Qian. First of all, let's not talk about obtaining the resources to be able to perceive the little 5 elements void sword. One of them also found a good thing for boosting strength. These things can be hard to come by. Unfortunately, neither is accessible to the masses as opposed to the average person. Old Taoist 5 elements. What should we do this time? The delicate young girl-like cultivator looked at Old Taoist 5 elements and asked. They had listened to the words of the Old Taoist and had been here for most of the day, and they had also found out a great deal about the situation here. It's about as much as you can learn about the city of Tongzhou, but as they learned more, they became less and less confident about making a move here. This is due to the fact that after the demon race exterminated the demon race, the tail of the hand has not been completely removed, so a large number of armies are left in the clan lands of those demon generals in which they are. In addition to the presence of several transformation mortal realm cultivators inside, it was heard that there were also demons with true immortal strength among them. If they made a move here, it would definitely end in 10 deaths. For such an end, none of them wanted to see it. But it takes one to make a decision like that. Otherwise there's no way to take the blame if an ordinary person goes under. After all, if the holy land of the human race inquired inside, saying why it took so much time to behead a mole cricket that hadn't even reached the Xian realm, someone would need to come out and take the blame. And all of them don't want to come out and take the blame. Therefore, Sword Idiot and also this charming young girl could be said to have left the decision in the hands of the 5 elements Old Taoist. Old Taoist 5 elements looked at the dozen or so cultivators surrounding the trio and couldn't help but show a bitter smile in his eyes. He finally contemplated for a moment and spoke. According to the news sent out by our insiders, it says that the existences valued by that demon emperor came over here just to improve their qualifications, so they will definitely leave. In order to minimize losses, let's start voting on whether to do it here or wait for the other side to leave. With that, Old Taoist of the 5 elements directly voted. As a 1,000-year-old Taoist, he wasn't much of a fool, knowing exactly what is going on and knowing that these people are pushing him to make a decision. But he didn't want to offend these people and disobey orders. So, after a show of hands and a vote, Old Taoist 5 elements said after packing up his things, there were 5 votes in favor of doing it here, and 13 votes in favor of doing it when the other side leaves. So, we finally decided to wait for the other party to leave before making our move. Listening to the 5 elements, Old Taoist finished these words. A shin in the hearts of the crowd also fell. After all, not all people have the noble character to dedicate their lives to the cause of the human race. There were not many ordinary people who could do such a thing, let alone a cultivator who was old enough to be a human being. Then things will be arranged like this. Genji, you are responsible for collecting information from the outside world. As for you, Aqua Holy Maiden, you are responsible for collecting information from inside the city. As for me, I will always keep an eye on Xu Feng's location. With this arrangement, you guys don't have a problem with this, right? All of the 5 elemental elder Taoists knew the character of these 2 people, so the things that were arranged were extremely simple. None of it was a big deal relative to him. I don't have a problem with that. The Aqua Holy Maiden's demeanor didn't even change as she directly took the task next. As for Sword Idiot, he had a cold face and nodded his head, indicating that he took this matter. At that moment, Old Taoist 5 elements didn't say anything more and directly gave more than 10 heaven realm cultivators to be divided equally among the several of them. And then, he turned around and began to look for and pry into Chu Feng's information within Tongzhou City. End of chapter. Chapter 142 Attacks. Chapter 142 Attacks. On the other side, Chu Feng and the others were still unaware that due to the selfish decision of the human cultivators, it made them dodge a bullet. Their group traveled back the way they came, and in less than half a day they were back in Tongzhou City. Between this round trip, it took them about 7 or 8 hours or so. Back here, it was just about midnight. If you take a rest, you can go over to the rendezvous for the baptism early tomorrow morning. Damn it, to think that this kid has escaped. The 5 elements Old Taoist, with an extremely poor color, fiercely slapped his thigh and said, today, they activated the scouts inside Tongzhou City to search for Chu Feng's whereabouts. After some searching, they unexpectedly discovered that Chu Feng had run out of Tongzhou City at this time. Go to where the first line is. After realizing this, old Taoist 5 elements couldn't wait to slap himself. They are now missing a great opportunity for nothing. If he had been a little more firm then, they could have gone back now. Although inside Tongzhou City, due to the mixing of the demonic race and also the magic path cultivators, it makes the demonic race crowd have an extremely large portion of human cultivators inside. In this way, they would not be in danger of being discovered if they stayed inside Tongzhou City. But who knows if other problems will arise. After all, they were in the middle of someone else's hinterland, and if they were discovered, they would definitely die in 9 deaths. It's all you guys. It's amazing that none of you were even a little firm. If you were firm and decided to make a move, would there still be so much going on? After venting a bit, after seeing the numerous cultivators ignoring him, the 5 elements old Taoist directly began to point and curse. Humph. Who knew that this guy's action back was so unexpected? Coming here instead of hiding, he instead left the city in a big way and went outside. And that time, agreeing to wait for him to come back before doing anything, was also decided by you. If you had attacked directly and forcefully, we would have stopped you. And old man, don't think you can be reckless just because you have a high seniority and a lot of prestige. If you dare to anger old me, the big deal is to break up the gang. If you're capable, just curse it out. Stop insinuating here and don't think people can't hear you. The holy maiden of the blue water, however, did not give any face to the 5 elements old Taoist, and her words were clipped with a direct hard-on. These words came out and directly caused the 5 elements old Tao to go a shade of red and a shade of white. It was really hard to know how to reply for a while. This 5 elements old Taoist was indeed as Bisui had said. Although his strength was not very strong, his seniority within the human race was ridiculously high. It was an existence of the generation of elder Tai Shangzhan within the human race. Unfortunately, this 5 elements old Taoist had a good face, yet his behavior was extremely arrogant, and he completely just didn't know much about the human world, often rushing the great powers within the human race. This mission came out completely underhanded. Originally, I saw before that the other side would disagree with the direct action, but instead I voted. Thought the other guy had learned his lesson, but now seeing that the other party blew up when they encountered the slightest thing, Holy Maiden of Aqua also shook her head, understanding that this fellow was absolutely irredeemable. Even if he didn't die on this mission, it wouldn't be surprising to go back to his character and wonder when the smallest thing would happen. Humph, so you're saying I'm at fault for this? Bisui. The 5 elements old Taoist's face was directly gloomy as he stared viciously at Bisui and said, where the fault lies in this matter is obvious to everyone. If you don't want to do it, let's just break up. Bisui wasn't spoiling him either. In her opinion, it was just a small cultivator, an existence that was not worth mentioning at all. Humph. When the 5 elements old Taoist looked at Bisui in this state, he did not rejoice at that moment. It had always been him who had disgusted others, but now Bisui had dared to come over and disgust him. However, it was true that now, as she had said, he was now in the middle of a downward spiral himself. At that moment, old Taoist 5 elements turned to Sword Idiot and asked, Sword Idiot, tell me, is there still a need for us to join forces? At this time the sword narrowed his eyes. God seems to be in sleepwalking. Completely. That is not a little reaction. It caused the 5 elements old Tao, who was listening to his response from the side, to lose face. Seeing him in this state, old Taoist of the 5 elements instantly understood that this Bisui and Sword Idiot had long ago joined forces at some unknown time. Now he's doing it, but it's just a disgrace. After discovering these Tao, the 5 elements old Taoist's face was so gloomy that he was able to squeeze out water, and he said in a loud voice, well, you two are good. I won't come with you on this one. Let's see what you can still accomplish. At that moment, old Taoist 5 elements aura grumpily slapped the desktop fiercely and left right then and there. Several Heaven Realm cultivators on one side looked at me. I looked at you. And in the end, some left and some stayed. Only after the 5 elements old Taoist left did Jianji open his eyes and ask, how? The Holy Maiden of Aqua said directly, this is something that of course we have to wait until that brat comes out before we make our move. Otherwise if we make our move here, we don't have any hope at all. Okay, that's all for now. Leave the rest to these Heaven Realm cultivators to go over and poke around. After the swordsman understood the final decision, he looked directly at it and dumped the loss on these henchmen. And then, without saying a word more, he directly left the place. Returning to where he was, he slowly cultivated. As a sword nerd, he could be said to hate putting all his time into practicing his sword. This guy. The Holy Maiden of Aqua looked at the dozen or so Heaven Realm cultivators that remained behind and couldn't help but smile bitterly. What's all this about? Converging people who either have this problem or that problem. Just got here and the team almost fell apart before we even got started. Forget it, you 12. Split 2 of you to go over and monitor the situation over at old Taoist 5 elements. Don't let him mess things up for us. As for the remaining 10 people, they will spread out inside the city and keep an eye on that brat's information. After saying that, Holy Maiden of Aqua distributed a pair of portraits to her men, only to see that portrait above the portrait. It is a young handsome look. A face there is a resolute look. Looking squarely at it, it was the very portrait of Chu Feng. I also don't know that the human side, that came with the news, even managed to find his portrait. One had to know that Chu Feng had come to the demon race's side, but he had not even left Tang Shishir's territory. On the following day, the sky had just revealed the white line, and after Chu Feng and Xiao Qian ate breakfast, they cleaned up afterward. Then he walked towards the great hall of the demon clan here. That's where this convergence will take place. All the demonic cultivators would converge there before they would uniformly enter inside for cultivation. Upgrade qualifications. Duke, watch out. Steeply, Xiao Qian drew her long sword and violently struck in front of Chu Feng. Boo! A figure was directly knocked out. Seeing the situation, Chu Feng immediately took out the protective talisman and at the same time released the golden eagle to guard his side. The assassin who failed to land a single blow did not immediately leave due to Xiao Qian blocking his attack. Instead he stopped where he was and stared at Xiao Qian. This little girl, this kid has a grudge against me. How about you leave here now and I won't look for your trouble? The voice was arrogant with a hint of threat. When Xiao Qian heard this, her face became even colder. This person even dared to attack her own male son even if it was enough. She even wanted to turn on herself. That's a total disregard for yourself. At that moment, the long sword in his hand swung up, and between the surges of spiritual energy, he was about to charge over at that moment. While watching Xiao Qian's movements, that assassin's face showed a look of plotting success. Seeing the other party's appearance, Xiao Qian immediately became alert and hurriedly looked towards where Chu Feng was. Humph! Fighting against me and still dare to be distracted. This small action was immediately caught by the assassin who was always staring at her, and at that moment, the gust of 5 elements of spiritual power and the moves were bombarded towards Xiao Qian. Under being struck first, Xiao Qian immediately fell into a disadvantage. As a last resort, she was only able to put her mind on the other side. As for where Chu Feng was, she could not take it into account right now. On the other side, while the assassins were making noises and pestering Xiao Qian, several figures were carrying extremely large pressures to kill Chu Feng. Seeing these figures, the golden eagle immediately howled. A pair of sharp claws danced violently, killing these people. When Chu Feng saw this situation, he did not dare to remain here at that moment and directly flew onto the golden eagle's back. After going up, he immediately commanded the golden eagle road, "Get the hell out of here." He understood that staying here with his cultivation level was a complete liability, and it was clear to him that these people were here for him. As long as he left, then with Xiao Qian's strength, these people wouldn't be able to deal with her. Instead, just get yourself out of here and lure people over. Then these assassins definitely can't take it. You have to know that this is the base camp of the demon race, the presence of many masters. After the golden eagle received Chu Feng's order, it immediately broke away from these assassins and quickly flew towards the center of the city. Seeing Chu Feng's movements, these people's faces instantly changed, and the spiritual energy in their bodies directly rioted. The leader shouted even more angrily, "Damn it, hurry up and stop them. If they get away, we'll be in danger." The assassins of the Heaven Realm cultivators were as if they didn't want to die, forcibly exploding their speed and rushing directly towards him, trying to stop him in mid-air. But how fast the golden eagle was! These people didn't even catch up with their tail pockets before they were directly thrown away by the golden eagle. Under the golden eagle's rapid movement, Chu Feng arrived within the city lord's mansion in the blink of an eye. When the guards outside the door saw this golden eagle, they immediately looked at him alertly and shouted in a cold and angry voice, "Who's coming? Stop it now!" Saying that, V then took his weapon out and pointed it straight at Chu Feng. Chu Feng took out his own token and said in a cold voice, "Call your city lord out. There are assassins from the human side here who didn't even notice. He's really a waste. You're looking for death. How dare you insult our city lord? It seems like you really don't know the heights of heaven unless you're given a little lesson." Hearing Chu Feng's angry rebuke, the two guards immediately rushed up and were about to strike at Chu Feng. Chu Feng looked at them and said in a cold voice, "Golden eagle, do it for me. Just don't kill it." After the golden eagle received the order, after a stern and shrill whistle, it swept its wings and directly swept the two minions out. Go! After this place was dealt with, Chu Feng did not even look at the two men and directly walked inside. Before Chu Feng could walk in, several figures directly rose up and directly blocked him down. "Who are you? How dare you make trouble in the city lord's mansion? Do you not want to live?" Chu Feng said as he looked at them with a cold face. "Have you guys been resting on your laurels for too long? To the point where you're even listening to the demon emperor's tokens? Also, being lurked by the enemy in front of your house without even realizing it. You guys are really something. Upon hearing these words, these people's expressions immediately changed. Being the first to see the token, they directly knelt down on one knee and said respectfully, "Greetings, Your Highness. I wonder what Your Highness is here for." Chu Feng knew that now was not the time to find trouble with them, and he himself did not have the strength to find trouble with them, so he